You're listening to 182.3, Care What People Think.
Welcome back to the Care What People Think podcast. How are you guys doing? I know you
Doing
can't
good.
respond. Okay, Will responded
shit.
instead.
You asked me?
Well, just like Will did, and maybe you rethink what, I don't know, that was a little awkward. Rethink it. Don't drink when other people drink. That's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm jumping right into alcohol peer pressure, and obviously, it is a huge topic. Before anything, though, we love the support. Welcome back to the podcast. We're here every single week, as you know. We talk about life, personal growth, occasionally call out society's weird expectations, like I'm doing with alcohol.
Nice.
But yeah, my name is Ryan. I'm always here with my co-host Will. You're just interrupting me, right, Will?
Yep.
Nice.
I was gonna do it again, but I wasn't sure. And then I was like, oh, let me just not answer. So then he says, right. Okay. Yeah, keep it going.
No. You wasn't interrupting. Either way, man. We do this thing every single week. What we're proud of from the previous week. It's my turn, and I'm going to be talking about actually how I've been sticking to my budget and not letting social
Hey.
plans wreck my savings. What I
Let's
mean by
go.
that is I got a raise about 2 weeks ago.
Hey,
Let's
congrats,
go.
congrats.
I think I talked about this last episode, but let's go.
Oh, true. I think you did too.
No, but what I'm trying to get at is I actually took it upon myself, looked at an Excel sheet, wrote down my what I want to put into savings, what I want to put towards rent, what I want to put towards groceries. Not, I guess those aren't wants. I need to put towards rent. But things that are not going to change for a little while, and I want to make sure I'm, building to progress in life, not owing the government money, owing people money. I want to be on top of my finances. So I'm proud of myself. I took it upon myself to do that.
Nice.
And I've also been, this is a perfect tie in to today's episode, but I've also been learning to say no to things that I actually don't want to do. Whether
Nice.
that's financially, or just, let's just say one of my coworkers is like, hey, let's go play pickleball after work. And it's going to be $20. It's going to last 2 hours. Sometimes I'm beat. I need to go home. And that is not a problem to say no once in a while. I've always felt obligated to do certain things. I don't know about you, Will, but sometimes it's
No,
hard to say no.
that's really good. I feel like that's like I definitely have always been caught up in like you said, saying yes, and it's kind of expected because like my brain, which you're probably thinking the same thing. It's like if someone asks you to do something, like yeah, you can say no, but do you know how much more of a fun time you'll be if you always say yes to something? Like I put myself on such like a way too high of an expectation where it's like if someone were to talk about me, they're like, oh yeah, Will is always down for anything. That I deem is like a positive thing. But like you said, it can be bad if you just do that all the time because then you're not doing anything you want to do. Um, but no, that's a good. I feel like I learned that a bit earlier on, relating to like alcohol peer pressure specifically, because I have a totally separate situation with like my disease and everything and going to college. Like I literally had to get used to saying no all the time. Um, and it's a weird thing that I feel like. I mean, you definitely have to get good at it when you move out. I don't know if that you've noticed an increase of you saying no, but
No, 100%. No, I just wanted to see what you thought because I think that's also just as you grow more of a mature thing too, where you say like no to a lot of things, right? And you kind of regret it, but then you realize, wait, I have more energy when I say no to things. I have more time and like time for myself sometimes, and I feel like that's good. So yeah, basically, I'm proud of myself for my budgeting and saying no to things. And the reason why I bring that up too is it's perfectly in line with St. Patty's Day. If you want to go out
yeah,
and
facts.
drink, go out and drink. If you want to stay inside and drink, do that.
Go out and drink. Oh,
Go out and drink.
Oh, you have to go out and drink.
Yeah, no, exactly. Basically, you have to go out and drink. So, no, but seriously, it's society's weird expectations. We're going to talk about this, but you can say no. You got to learn how to handle it. Whether it really is saying no is as awkward as it seems, it doesn't matter. It's your own life, and even if I think I've gotten a lot better with it. Will probably has too, just with time. Um, But yeah, just be confident in that decision. And yeah, I just wanted to start off with that, and here we go.
Saying, yeah, I would to build off of that. So like saying no. Well, first of all, alcohol, peer pressure. The peer pressure, it doesn't really have to be alcohol specific, but that is, like you said, a very normalized kind of social expectation is people being like, one more drink, one more shot, whatever. Um, if you obviously over 18, US drinking or 21, God fucking I said 21. I said 21. In the US, like it sucks, especially looking back when you're older. I'm only 24, sadly. That's old as balls. But like even looking back to when I was 20 or 21, like you realize kind of how not taking advantage you are of people like constantly reminding you, but you just learn like what bullshit you don't stand for. So like it's gonna be super tough saying no to everything. But if people are just like peer pressuring you in general, it's it's difficult because it's not portrayed like, like in a movie, they'll make it very clear where like the antagonist will be like either like gaslighting or like just really toxic where they're like say you and me are hanging out and then you're just like, okay, I'm done, I'm not drinking anymore, and I'm like, damn, only a pussy bitch wouldn't get another shot or whatever. Like, damn, you really made me
Facts.
come all the way out on like, yeah, that's a great example. I fly out to you and hang out, it's like, damn, you really made me come all the way out here and you can't even like drink as much as me. Like, wow, what's that about?
Yeah, I don't owe
That's
you
toxic
shit,
as
bro.
fuck.
I don't owe you shit. So
That's toxic as fuck. And so that is very easy to pinpoint being like, no, 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 I'm not going to stand for this. But most of the time, what I found, at least from my college experience, where it was like you're actually having a good time, and then someone's like, yeah, just do one more. Just do this thing, just do that. And that is harder because you're, I don't know, science, endorphins, fun
agreed.
time,
Also
oxytocin, you're
FOMO,
feeling
dude. Fear of missing out, dude. You don't
true.
know like if somebody else is doing that, then you're obviously wanting to be part of the fun. Nobody else wants to be the odd one out. And I think you made it perfectly clear, bro, with the it's everywhere. Dude, people
Yeah.
do it after work. Loki in the morning, bro. Mimosas. Dude,
Yeah.
people are doing it every single night, every single day. And it's you can do it or you can't, but it feels like a fear of missing out. So
Yeah. No, it's tough too because when you are having that fun moment, what again, if it's alcohol or whatever, if you're having fun and someone's saying like pressuring you to do something, it sucks because realistically it comes down to a simple thing. If you genuinely are uncomfortable about what you're being pressured to do, the person that's pressuring you is not actually a valid friend because no fucking friend would actually do that, which sounds really cliche. But like if I told Ryan like, "Hey, I'm not drinking tonight because whatever." And then he kept pressuring me, like I am now in a weird position because I feel uncomfortable and Ryan's my friend. So like I want to vocalize it. And if I'm clearly vocalizing it and bro's not respecting my boundary, which shout out the boundary episode we made a couple like 6 months ago, that if that's not being respected, then ultimately there's going to be a conversation of like your friendship because a friend shouldn't fucking do that. That's just not what like the fuck. Also,
I
at the
agree.
end of the day, alcohol's literally poison. If you're telling someone to, hey, do this act that will literally injure you and shorten your lifespan. Like that like, and you're uncomfortable with that, which is fine. I don't know. I have a very
Well,
warped perspective.
yeah, I was about to say, dude. Another thing too is like I totally get like the friendliness of it. Like even with you, Will, when I came to visit, I was like, "Hey, Will, do you want to like drink and then we can like walk around or campus or whatever." Basically, just something to make us kind of chill a little bit. And for me, I wanted to have a couple beers, and I never peer pressured Will, or at least I didn't. I don't
No,
know.
you didn't.
Okay.
No, you didn't.
But what I'm trying to say is, even if I joked about it, it was never like that type of idea. Where a lot of people become like aggressive, and it's hard to get them out of that mentality. So I will talk about like how to say no without being weird about it, or without them even knowing. This is the weirdest part. But
Okay.
I've used these tips. I'll explain you. Should I do that now or at the end?
Yeah, yeah, just go for it now. I have a point that ties in after.
Okay, perfect. Because yeah, so confidence is key. If you see somebody drinking or just intoxicated in general, most of the time they're confident and vocal. If you act like it, it's no big deal. People usually won't care when you're not intoxicated. Holding a drink, water, soda, whatever it is, helps me actually. So there was a time, this was last year, I took a 3 month cleanse. I know, wow, Whippy, wow, so
Nice.
crazy. But I mean, it was a big deal for me because I was like, I was feeling it and I could tell people were still judging me for not drinking. So I would just hold a water or a Sprite and be like, yeah, this is a vodka Sprite. People usually wouldn't even question it. But honestly, most
Nice.
people, yeah, they don't notice. They're actually more normal um, when you're more confident because they'll care less. They'll be like, okay, well, he's doing his thing, whatever. When you're a little bit like, ooh,
Yeah.
should I? I don't know. That's when it gets a little iffy. So
Yeah, that's when you get got. They're like, "Oh, he's hesitant. He could be thinking about it." But yeah, if
he's
someone's
beer
just like,
bonging. Will's
"Yeah,
ripping the beer bong. He doesn't get a choice. Open
King's
your
cup,
mouth.
King's cup, stack fucking 6 cups in your mouth right now." No, if it's like a gray area, I feel like yeah, that's definitely when people jump. It all from my perspective. So again, I feel like I fucking say this all the time, but I have a disease where it doesn't make sense to have gluten and dairy all the time. So I'm on those diets. And in pretty much all, well, because of this disease, digestive wise, it has affected my liver. And so guess what? Your liver is what fucking, uh,
Processes
what's the,
alcohol.
yeah, there you go. So that
Filters. Yeah.
makes, yeah, that's the word. It filters alcohol. So in my head, I'm like, it makes no fucking sense to ever drink because my that'd be like going to go on a run when you like just broke your ankle or something. It's like it's not a great idea. And so I just use kind of like the drastic thing, like you were saying, where if someone questioned what you had, you're just like, boom, nope, Sprite, vodka and Sprite, boom, and it's not even vodka and Sprite. They won't care. If someone's like, Will, come on, you got to be drinking, I literally would just be like, dude, if I drink, I will die. I'm not drinking. And then, especially if people are intoxicated and death is mentioned, people are like, oh, fuck. Okay. Sorry. I'm not. And so that for me was kind of how I more so got through college because people would want me to drink. I would probably say after the first like 2 weeks, then everyone knew that Will just couldn't drink. And because I had
Did
no
that kill the
fucking
vibe though?
friends,
Did that kill the
that
vibe? When you're
it,
just like, I literally can't drink. I'm gonna die.
I'm going to
Like
die.
I think if I met somebody for the first time and they're just like, yeah, if I sipped a piece of thing of alcohol, I would die. I'd be like, okay.
Bro would bully. Bro would, that's
I
crazy.
wouldn't bully. I would just be like, I don't know if
It's a shock.
I want to talk to him because he scares me. What if he
Yeah,
kills
you
me,
don't.
bro?
Well,
What if
this guy.
I don't know this disease? What if he coughs on me and I die?
No, you just don't want to. It's scary because you don't want to accidentally, if someone has like an allergy, you don't want to fuck anything up around them. I get that. It mostly was. I never really got pressured. It was mostly like I would be meeting people, and then people would be drinking. And they'd be like, "Oh, do you want anything to drink?" It's like, "Oh, I can't drink." And they'd be like, "Oh, why?" And I'd say because I have this disease thing, and so my liver's like really fucked up, and so it doesn't make sense to drink. And by that point, a lot of people are like, "Oh, your liver's fucked up." I'm a dumb college student. If your liver's fucked up, I at least know that has to process the alcohol, so you probably shouldn't drink. If it, I think maybe one time it got to an extreme where people that were already drunk were like, "We'll drink for the first time." It's like, dude, I will literally die. And so
Yeah.
then that's when, but again, that also kind of leads into just because you are saying no or can't with alcohol specifically does not mean you are completely isolated per se from fun. Like you're saying with FOMO, I will say right now, especially if you've never drank, you know that phrase or whatever where it's like, oh, you can't go to a party or you can't have fun unless you're
Yeah.
drunk. Actually, facts. Hot take. Actually, facts. If you are in college, in my opinion, as someone who never drank at all through college, you will literally have so much more fun if you drink, not drink a lot, but it's because everything is such a new experience. You have new people in your life, new classes, new things you're learning, new experience living on your own, new having a roommate. If you throw on top also just another new experience, which is of being inebriated or intoxicated, that
Not
only
to
adds
mention
more
hot chicks,
newness.
dude. Let's be so for
Okay.
real. No,
Okay,
let's
yeah.
be so for real.
So when
Tell
you
me
add
I'm
all these,
wrong, bro. People
you're
go
wrong.
to college to
You're wrong.
meet their significant, not even significant other, but dude, yeah, you want to meet girls, and same with girls. They want to meet dudes. That's what frats are, what sororities are. It's straight Greek
That's
life.
true.
I'm just
So
saying it helps to
yeah.
be a little bit like inebriated, tipsy. And I get your point. Continue.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say it like you because I went to probably like 6 or 7 parties throughout my college experience in like 2 years I was on campus. And I do have a decent amount of memories that some were pretty fun. A lot of them were just kind of random and not great. But like, if you are drunk, you'll have that tie in. And I think you can only know that once you've actually gotten drunk before. Because during all of college, I was like, oh, and especially like when I was at your dorm all the time and you guys would have, parties or whatever on Fridays and you'd be drinking the dorms, that
Yep.
to me, I always never felt pressured, or maybe like the first 2 times ever because I'd never been around people on, I'll just say drugs in general. So that was more of an uncomfortable thing for me. But then once it's like, oh, people kind of just do this, um, and it's okay, I don't have to be involved. Then it was like, oh, I don't, I don't need to. I don't need to do that. I'm chilling. But then once for the first time I drank and I like actually I felt what drunk was like, I was like, oh, a decent amount of, like, I didn't have to be as hard strict as I thought
Thought.
or as I was, yeah, in college.
And I
So
mean, I don't blame that on our parents, but I kind of do because of just how we were raised. I mean, they kind of,
really?
I mean, I do a little bit because I'm like, my parents kind of told me, not, I don't know. They kind of just like in their mind told me that, hey, this is wrong, this is right. And they did that with a lot of things. And I feel like to this day, I'm still like learning about, hey, you don't have to be so strict on some things. Like it's not just black and white. Um, if you're blacking out every night, that is not good. If
Yeah.
you are having a beer once in a while, that is completely fine, man. Like I'm just saying, um, yeah, I felt a little bit of pressure with my parents, at least in college. Like I felt like goody two shoes compared to the rest of the people in college and in college. And I realized really quick, I was like, wait, it's not that big of a deal like you did. Um, but it's true, dude. If you okay, so what I'm gonna say is one drink won't hurt. End quote. What I mean, sorry, begin quote. One drink won't hurt. End quote. Why do you have to drink? You don't have to. The reason why I'm saying
Yeah.
like you could totally do it, it will hurt though if you don't want to do it. So like just do what you want to do. I remember so many people say that to me. One drink won't hurt. You'll have more fun when you drink. False, dude. You
Yeah.
can be a social without it. And I get it. The new experiences in college just don't overdo it. But for me, man, I like just drinking once or twice a week. And I know that sounds like a lot, but it's really just on the weekends to have some fun, kick back. But
Yeah.
I would really rather be in control and actually remember the night that I've had than feel pressured into drinking just to fit in. And I came I came a long ways like since college, I would say with that. Um but Will, I have a question for you. What's the worst excuse someone has given to you to get you to drink?
Ooh. Ooh. Oh, that's such a fucking good question. I feel like you would have a better answer because I actually have a story of you. I have an answer for you. Um
Oh god.
me someone to get me to drink. See, the thing is, I didn't start drinking until like I didn't even try alcohol. Like, when people are like, "Oh, I had a sip of, wine or an alcohol" when I was like in fucking elementary
So
school or
basically
whatever,
I have to
because
carry
my
this
dad,
episode.
I literally, but yeah. So I hadn't had any experience or exposure
Yeah.
until after college because, like you said, I kind of learned like I wasn't so like pressured by my parents to be like, don't do this and do this. It was more like, if you kind of like what you're pitching, just like if you want to try it, then you
Go ahead.
can, but
Yeah.
obviously be in a safe environment. Because that is a really scary thing. I would not advise any like trying out anything really at parties, because especially in college, because say you've never drank, you have no idea what your fucking limit is. Like me, bro, I literally, the first time I ever had alcohol, I had a buzz ball and I was drunk as fuck because I
One?
didn't eat one buzzball. I had
Nah.
one
Nah.
green apple buzzball or whatever. Dude, what a great experience, by the way. That's the other reason why I have a little bit of like, I would be very much standing on like, because you don't have to be drunk at like with people to have fun, obviously. But like,
Agreed.
if you're in college and everything's new, I do think it is
Also
new. So you
depends on the
fun.
experience. If you're going to Vegas, bro, you're kind of wanting to drink. If you are
Yeah.
going sailing across the sailing across the globe, you don't have to be drunk for that. There
No.
are that was so random. I'm just saying There are certain things though that like obviously enhance your experience, like a frat
Yeah,
party. So anyway,
but no, I oh, but yeah, I didn't eat anything the day like all day, and then I drank one buzzball that night. So I was fucking backflipping and shit in a living room. But that was do you know what's crazy? Wait, it's 2025. That was 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago was the first time I had ever gotten drunk. Or I guess I
I
wasn't
was
drunk,
about
I
to
was
say you've
intoxicated.
had alcohol, but you weren't drunk.
Well, like I was hella tipsy. Like it was the first time that I felt different than the first time I ever
Gotcha.
felt sober. Or felt not sober in in a scenario. But okay, sorry, I keep liberating the fuck out of not answering your question. Um not not a reason to drink. I feel like I
If you
think I
don't have one,
literally
I got you.
oh, well, I was gonna. Do you have one or actually?
I
Yeah,
have a
you
really
go.
good one. I have a
I don't
really good
have
one.
one.
So one of my like friends that's a girl, back home, she's awesome. Don't get me wrong, but when she gets a lot of drinks in her, gets very, very emotional. I think you know who you are probably.
No
Actually,
way.
that's probably all my girl, like my friends that are girls. But either way,
No way.
it was her birthday. She was already hammered by the time I got back from work. I was working Texas Roadhouse from a server job, so I came back home pretty late. Got home around like 10:30, 11 and walked in the door with all of them and she is hammered, right? So I'm
Yeah.
setting the scene. Um, we're about to go to the bars and I told her, "Hey, I can't." Okay, so this is what I told her. I told her I would hang out with her at her place with the whole group before they went to the bars and just hang out. And because I didn't want to go to the bars, I was tired from work. I think that is very valid. Still got to see her. So got there at 10:30. I was supposed to be with them until like 11:30, right before they left. I've hung out with them for an hour. I tell her I'm going home. Instead of going, "Oh, okay, but like, okay, good night." No. Instead, "It's my birthday." Starts crying. "Why would you
No.
ever do that?" Hugs me more, pulls me to the Uber. And I'm like, "Dude,
No.
I understand that you want me there and you are hammered. That is not an excuse for me. I'm going home. I'm tired. I'm not that drunk. It is what it is." I then get gaslit by every single person there and go,
Oh.
"Why wouldn't come on? It's her birthday." Dude, I literally ended up going out. That was when I
Oh.
wasn't good at saying no. And that's like, I'm not going to disappoint 20 people just
Yeah.
because like the birthday girl wants. So that pissed me off. And I understand that she was hammered and it is what it is. But yeah, I felt like that was a terrible excuse when I told her the plan originally and I still hung out with her. Oh, either way, I'm still pissed off about that. That was like 2 years ago.
That's
But
so okay. So that seems to have more of like a like you actually look at that now and you're like that was so fucking stupid and a dumb reason to drink and I didn't need to do that.
yeah, and I
My
ended up staying up late, bro, and I just was tired as shit. And
didn't
I've
have
already
sleep.
and guess what, dude? She's on the ground like rolling around by the time we're out of the bars because she's already blacked out. She doesn't. I'm not even kidding. I'm bringing this up. She doesn't even remember me leaving and going with her to the bars.
No.
I'm like, there was no point, bro. So I thought that was crazy, but
No, I was gonna say one time when out of the 3 times I've ever been to a party at Ryan's old apartment because I was in California when he had the one with his like 5 roommates or whatever, there was a girl that Ryan liked, and I couldn't drink because I had to drive home. And our friend Zach wasn't drinking either because they had to drive to Denver, I think, that night or in the morning. And so the fucking people, I don't know if you remember this, but like everyone was playing King's Cup or whatever, where you fucking do the ping pong ball and you bounce it
yeah,
on the table and you have to get it in the cup. You set
rage
the cups up.
cage.
Rage Cage, there you go. And it was I was like, damn, I can't play. And Ryan went, "Oh yeah, you can play." And I went, "I can't drink." He went, "Oh, I'll drink for you." And then literally 2 seconds later, the girl next to Ryan is just like, "Oh, I've drank so much, I like can't really drink." And he's like, "Oh, but I want you to play. I'll drink for you." And then as he said that, Zach leans over and he goes, "Bro, this is crazy because Ryan's also drinking for me." Mans was drinking for 3 people in this game of Rage Cage, and that I wouldn't say. I guess I put
That's
that in my
why I'm
head as like
proud
a
of
bad.
myself to say no now, dude. I couldn't
Yeah.
say no back in the day, and I don't know, man. It was a social thing.
No, that's really funny. That sucks. I haven't had it. No, when you said like a bad memory, like someone actually got you to drink or like really convinced you to drink for a stupid reason like that, I have not had
It wasn't even a
anything.
stupid reason. It's just like it was the end of the night and I was tired and it is what it is.
Yeah.
Instead, I got fucking gaslit by 20 people and we did actually nothing. I ended up
See,
buying her drinks.
that's tough because that's 20
Yeah.
people. That's more than just
Yeah, it's
one, two,
impossible to
three.
get out of it. But either way, okay, I have one more point before we wrap things up. I want to ask you about your work life and how drinking ties in. And I'm going to give you a little background because I just went to Top Golf with my main manager about 2 months or no, like a month ago. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because at Top Golf they sell drinks,
Yeah.
and it was still a great time when I went with him. But it felt almost like an obligation to drink because it is a social thing. It leads to more conversation, leads to being more part of the fun, and I'm saying that in like a I don't know, a skewed standpoint, right? So like that's kind of the societal norm. Damn, Sicilian societal Sicily.
Sicily. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, it feels like the norm. And I was there with 6 other coworkers where we all were drinking, had a couple beers in us. It did lead to a deeper conversation, man. And we felt a lot more chilled out because he was my manager and we are his employees, right? Um,
Yeah.
what is your stance on this? Do you think like it's important to like grab a drink if your manager is grabbing a drink? What do you think?
That's really tough. Again, I feel oh, man. When I first meet someone, I have a much easier time than you do because my position is so different. Like if for example, if I'm going out with like manager or whatever to go like bond or whatever. If we're going somewhere, it already becomes involved in the conversation where it's like, "Hey, by the way, I have a random ass fucking diet because I have a random ass disease, so I can't do this, so we need to pick
Yeah.
somewhere." And that triggers a question from them and then I also answer with like, "Oh, and that's also why I don't drink." So then when it becomes into a drinking scenario, I automatically am already kind of like out of bounds where it's like, "Oh, I'm not even going to ask Will because he just told me." If I did get put in a scenario where it's at a Top Golf thing, at least with like if I'm going with Paris's friends or something, I'm already kind of known. And then all through college, I was known as like the guy who was either DD all the time, which I fucking drove way too many fucking people around that did not. Yeah, that was me not saying no. I fucking drove everyone around. I was everyone's chauffeur. Holy shit, I did not need to do that.
Bro
But
was
I
just
needed to meet
everyone's
people.
bitch.
Bro, literally, I would go to parties. I went to a party and I drove there. I helped people set up because the party needed to be set up. And then I took 2 rides of people back to the fucking school because they were all about to vomit. And then they once I got out of the car, they vomited. I was literally a fucking taxi, bro. I thought
Yeah, I
that
mean, it
was
is what it
fun.
no, it's not.
Which
Oh,
is
you found it
crazy. Well,
fun?
no, no, no,
Damn.
no, 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 no. I didn't think like I thought that's what I had to do to make friends. That's basically how I should have
Oh,
phrased it
really?
because I
Okay. I
couldn't
mean, I
relate
did
with
that with
drinking.
my roommates a lot, right? Even though, like, because I had sober nights where I was like, "Hey, dude, I'm not feeling it," and I felt kind of obligated, but also just like reaching out to a friend, just being like, "Hey, I can drive you guys, and if
Yeah,
I'm still up, I can pick you up." The only reason I say that is because I know them. They even though I love them, shout out them, but they would be the type to order an Uber there and then run back, even if it's like a fucking hour. And I'm like,
it's
why are we doing
crazy.
that, dude, when we can just order another Uber? So like
Why are we
so
doing
sometimes, dude, if I'm up, I'm like, hey, I would rather see my friends alive in the morning. I didn't find it fun taking them, but I also felt like, hey, for safety reasons, let's do it. So
You're sorry. Your question was asking going if I was like with manager or anything and to feel obligated. Um, I because of the amount of experience I have of saying no with alcohol specifically, it's pretty comfortable for me to be like is it like you're playing and then
yeah,
you order drinks. I haven't been to Top Golf.
yeah, you have an excuse, dude. Like, well, yeah. So what I'm getting at is at Top Golf, it's kind of just like, yeah, you walk up to the bay, they have a server there and just like, hey, you want any appetizers, any drinks? My boss ordered 5 beers for everyone else and was just like, hey man, like I don't know, it's our first time. Do you want a beer? And I go, yeah, of course. Like
Oh
that's
yeah,
awesome.
no. Yeah, for me, I just go no. But also,
But you have an excuse.
yeah. Well, also, second thing I just realized, dude, and I can't remember the last time we've been out to eat together. I never fucking order a drink with any of my food. If I go to In N Out, no drink. If I go to any restaurant, I only need water minimum. I'm not a drink and like even soda. I don't drink soda. The best top tier drink, not even a hot take, is lemonade. And so if I'm gonna have like a restaurant experience and I am
That's a
treating
hot take,
myself,
bro. Lemonade
then
in the
I'm gonna
summer,
have
that's not a
lemonade.
hot take. Lemonade in the winter,
No,
that's a hot take, bro.
man said lemonade in the winter and then puts ice
It-
in his cups of milk. No.
You're just gonna out me for that every single time. Bro
Yep.
can't drink alcohol. Bro chauffeured
Yeah.
around his friends to make friends.
Bro doesn't know how to say no.
Oh man.
But
No.
oh, but yeah, that's a tough position because I feel like I have an easier time. But I mean, it's good that you're getting better at saying no. Because that fucking takes
I think
forever. That's pretty much what life's about.
yeah, right, like say right before we head out today, I just want to say that like for me personally, having a drink or two just to kill like the nerves and stuff sometimes in those
Yeah.
situations, I think is awesome. Same with like meeting people and being in a social environment. But to be blacked out 24/7, it takes a toll on your mental health, physical health, a lot of things that you're just like, damn. And then I've thought about it. A lot of my previous experiences, I could have known a lot more about. Like I would say 20% of like my times getting absolutely hammered, right? 20% of the time, I don't regret it. What I mean by
Yeah.
that is I'm just like, okay, that's part of like going to Vegas. That's part of like somebody's birthday. It is what it is. The other 80%, I'm like, damn, why did I drink like those extra 5 beers? I would have loved to know what the night like what happened. So so there's obviously risk and reward. Be safe about it. But yeah, that's all I got.
Oh yeah. I mean that's well, I had a point that I was gonna say, but I forgot. Just like your blackouts. If you're gonna listen to one episode, one thing throughout this
No.
episode, remember, the peer pressure from the alcohol specifically, but anything from friends is super difficult, super super difficult. It will not be fun. It will be very uncomfortable. It's definitely okay to have a balanced lifestyle, kind of like Ryan said, of like if you are at a party and you are meeting people and you're like hella anxious, hella nervous or whatever, and you have one drink, I think that's fine. But navigating that is pretty much on your own and it's really difficult. Like I literally just said. Make sure to listen to the podcast on all platforms, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and care what people think. We'll see you next week.
See you next week on 182.3.